Welcome to Hey Soul Sista, the podcast for women ready to embrace greater joy, freedom, and a soulful life. This is your space for deep conversations, meaningful stories, and inspiring guidance to nourish your body, mind, and spirit. Kaz Amos, welcome back to Hey Soul Sista 2.0.
Yay, and I love it. I love the new branding. I love the space, but I always love being in your company.
Oh, thanks, Kazzy, and ditto.
Thank
Ditto.
you. Thank you.
So we haven't recorded together for probably 18 months or so.
Wow.
Would it have been that long?
I reckon
Yeah.
it probably has been, yes.
Yeah, because I took quite a hiatus from Hey Soul Sista, but we're back.
Better than ever?
More soulful and joyful than ever.
Amen.
Amen to that, sister. Absolutely. So, Kazzy, since last time that you've been on Hey Soul Sista, because you have been a regular guest, because you have so much great wisdoms, learnings, great advice.
Isn't that the wonder of middle age?
Absolutely.
That
Midlife, right?
We have been collecting and finding out what works and what doesn't work, and just bringing with us what does work as best we can.
Absolutely. That is the joy of midlife.
Yeah, I genuinely believe that. And so I can only think that, how much better are we going to be in years to come with the wisdom that we're already gathering and sharing?
Absolutely. I turned 50 a couple of months ago, as you know. When I say a couple of 6, 7, maybe 8, I'm still holding on to 50, not ready for 51. But I have noticed a massive shift.
Really?
Yeah, just since turning 50.
In what way?
In that I really came to, number one, acknowledge that, you're in midlife, sister. You're in midlife. And then really going, if I'm in midlife, and actually I'm probably past the midpoint of my life, unless I live to 100, how do I want the rest of my life to be? That has been the shift, right?
Yeah, I hear that loud and clear.
Yeah.
And I've just turned 50 free to be me, because that's how I have to frame it in order to get past it. I'm 50 free to be me. I've always wanted to live to 100. And now I'm in the less than the halfway. And I'm like, holy, I better make this count.
Yeah.
Not that I haven't been making it count, but it just, there's a preciousness, I guess, that comes with less than more.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that reflects what I think that does. It mirrors what you're saying in that.
It does, absolutely, because I think when you're in your 20s, you're like, oh, you've got the rest of your life ahead of you. And we say that to our kids, you've got the rest of your life ahead of you. And then you kind of get to this in the midlife, past the midpoint, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, what does the rest of that life look like? Because number one, you start hearing about people who are passing away. So a girl that was in my group at high school passed away a month ago. My first school friend passed away. Tragic, and left 3 kids that in teens. And you face your own mortality then. And the question is, wow, okay, people my age are dying, and she died of a heart attack, unexpected heart attack. But how do I want the rest of my life to be? And I know for me, somebody who has been probably quite an anxious person over much worse when I was younger, but I have probably been a worrier over the years, and also apologetic for the good things that have happened in my life.
What do you mean by that? Got me thinking. Apologetic for
good things.
For good things.
Yes. It's a realization that I had last year, because I've had crappy things. I've had the breast cancer when I was 35. I had part of my mouth cut out, which has been awful. I live with the uncomfortableness and pain every day of that. Plus also this side of my mouth is a centimetre shorter than this side of my mouth. And so there's, the cosmetic, but actually it's really uncomfortable and painful. I've had loved ones pass away. You have challenges and traumas that happen in your life. But some good things have been happening in my life as well. And I found myself hiding it or being apologetic for it. And it's like, oh no, I can't acknowledge the good things because it might make other people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And one day a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Rebecca Gibson.
We both know that love.
Yes, we both know the love of Rebecca Gibson. We were chatting one day and she kindly said this to me, and I was kind of downplaying something, or I was like, oh yeah, I think, yeah, this happened to me, but I wasn't that great. Let's not make a big deal about that. And she said to me, babe, do you actually realize how fortunate you are? And I was like, what? And she's like, you are really fortunate. And actually, don't downplay that, because it's not doing anyone a service. You downplaying when something good happens to you.
Mm.
And I knew at the time that she had some stuff going on in her life. And I had that moment of going, oh my God, Mel, shut up. You know what I mean?
To give yourself a little bit of a kick up the butt.
Yeah. And I love that about her, because I love that she does kindly challenge, right?
Yeah. Gently, lovingly, in a supportive way, but yes.
Yes.
Still truthful and honest.
And I had that moment, I was like, why am I doing that? Why am I downplaying the good things, apologizing for good things? Why am I doing that? And I'm like, because I didn't want to make other people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think that also that ties in or goes with that how we act is how we give people around us permission to act.
Yeah.
So if I am maybe not spruiking all of my goodness, then it doesn't turn into like a I'm better than, or I'm a this then, or then what about my trip, or what about my experience? It doesn't turn into that. So you might be doing it from like an honest place, but at the same time, it's a good life. And who knew it was going to be like this?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I talked to small self me, in poverty and surrounded by not much, to be living this life and be this version of myself now. So grateful.
And it's interesting because I know today that one of the things that we're talking about is self-love.
Yeah. And I think midlife, having this kind of a reassessment of where am I at and going, fuck it. I'm in my 50s. I often joke about the fuck it 50s. I have been heard, actually, I did shout it out to Drew Barrymore when I saw Drew Barrymore live about a year ago. Yeah, because there's this whole idea that you get to your 50s and you get to this midlife place and you have arrived somewhere and your life looks very different because you're not heavily, intensively caring for small children anymore, and it's all free and this and this. But there's also a moment to take stock and go, wow, look at how far we've come and look at where we are. And how do I want to do this in the future? It is a moment. It's a moment in time.
Yeah. Now, Kaz, you are now fully qualified psychologist. Go, Kazie. That's been a journey.
7 years.
7 years.
7 whole years.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
High five to you, because I know, I still remember the day you told myself and some other girls that you've decided to go to uni, to go from being a counsellor to a psychologist. Actually, your words were you're going to the dark side.
Well, it has a lot more structure to it, and it has a lot more accountability and responsibility with it. But that's okay. One of those reasons for making that decision was to hone those skills, and, a bit like a diamond in the rough, when you kind of grind it and you have it reflected and you look at it in a different light, it becomes the diamond.
Yeah.
So I think, that's how I visualized what that 7-year journey was going to be. It was about honing something that as a counsellor, I didn't have that, I don't know, the opportunities for somebody to look at my work and to go, yeah, when you did that or when you said that, you could have done it better, or you could have, that was amazing. Like, you don't have those reflective opportunities, whereas going through the training as a psychologist, absolutely you have to do that again and again and again and again. It's very vulnerable. I was very scared the first time that somebody saw one of my sessions, like a supervisor saw a video recording of one of my sessions and then gave me feedback. I was shitting myself.
Which I find fascinating, because I've heard you speak many a time. I've heard you talking to the women in group sessions, and you are so wonderful and confident and wise. You're an absolutely amazing workshop facilitator and counsellor. I haven't heard you in the psychologist capacity, but I know how good you are.
It's not that different.
But I find it interesting that you were scared.
I'm still a little scaredy cat inside. Still scared of the dark. I don't like frogs. You know, there is a vulnerability when you ask somebody to reflect back to you, not just the good, the whole story, and going through that practice of getting that feedback returned, and it gave me that opportunity over and over to hone the skills. And that's really what I wanted to do, so I could be really good for people, really good for myself, and know that I'm offering my best. Like that continuous improvement idea.
Yeah.
Because that will make me better for the next person.
So on that continuous improvement, I know you're talking about in a work sense, but in a life sense, that's something I know myself and many other people strive for, is continuous improvement. Does the journey ever end? No.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
It doesn't. But it's interesting, the feedback piece, that's still hard for a lot of people. I find it hard. It's hard.
Yes.
To get feedback.
It's hard to get real feedback.
Good, constructive feedback.
Yes. Yeah, because people are always happy to say you're amazing, which, no offense to anybody who's ever said I'm amazing, but
I said you're amazing before.
You did, and no offense, but I hear it and I just go, anything else?
Do I need a new word from amazing?
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
But it is like it's a really broad term. But when you're trying to hone a craft, and you're trying to hone something in yourself, you really want all sides of it, so that you can see, where the little spots are that you could do a little better. Yeah. It could improve.
Yeah. So, Kaz, in your role now as a psychologist, practicing clinical psychologist?
Not clinical psychologist, just registered psychologist.
Registered psychologist, okay.
We could get into trouble for that.
Okay. It's very, 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 lots of terms,
lots of proper terms.
Lots of regulations.
Yeah.
Lots of rules.
Registered psychologist here. Yes.
Okay. So, one of the things that we're talking about or going to talk about is self-love. Is that something that you see as an issue coming up regularly with the people that you meet?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And I probably see that as one of the foundational questions that they might present with a particular issue, but what lies beneath that are often those fears of, am I not good enough? What don't I know? Is this it?
Yeah.
But
am I doing this the right way?
Yes. And what's your opinion? Because I've got this, series of conversations that I've had, and am I responding right, or should I be doing it better? But there's that probably that underlying desire to know and act from self-awareness, but not sure, and looking for confirmation of what that is.
Looking for validation.
Yes, looking for validation. That's right.
That's a really big one.
Oh, yeah.
The people seeking, and I say this because I've been going through this whole thing as well, the seeking external validation and trying to make the shift to go, I don't need to seek external validation. I can find that validation within myself.
Yes, because I think the self-love or the awareness of self, we know. We know. Are we brave enough to say so? Are we brave enough to act in that way? Not always.
Yeah.
Because of layers of experiences, layers of history that have said, no, that's not okay. Interpreted then as, no, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And I think that when people come to therapy, that's what a great deep level of what they're unpacking is that.
So why do you think that happens? Why do you think that we all struggle with the self-love and the need for that validation?
I would want to go, obviously, childhood, but not just childhood, but experiences that leave us with a negative belief about ourselves.
Yeah.
And I go instantly to childhood because lots of things happen in childhood where we don't understand the situation, and our little self responds and says, oh, well, that's because you did the wrong thing, or that's because you said the nasty thing, or that's because, you should have been prettier and they wouldn't have,
Yeah.
All those little things.
Yeah.
And my take on that is, even as adults, when we're having bigger experiences, or teenagers when everything is a massive experience, is that our brain is just filling in the details of what it doesn't know, information it doesn't have. So I didn't get the validation that I needed. Well, I need a story to tell myself about why I feel this way in this situation. And that's how then I'm going to go forward in my life doing that thing. And I think those things become part of our armor. They're our protection.
Yeah.
But they're not always helpful.
Yeah. And I remember seeing on YouTube years ago, I think it was a TED Talk and a researcher talking about the negative bias that our brains have, that all humans have. And we're programmed.
Yeah,
that
it's
way.
a safety strategy.
Yeah.
It's a survival
Yeah.
strategy.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that, what that is, that whole negative bias?
Well, if we go back way back in time, and if our visual system, auditory, like our five senses are set to look and predict danger, then I'm going to be looking for the dangerous thing and I will respond accordingly. And that's how I survive.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, very simplistic. But on a neurological level, that then sends certain signals when we perceive danger or threat that run through our nervous system and show up like the shakes, show up like fear, show up like sick in the belly, heart racing. And the brain decides, is this time to punch on? Is this time to run away? Is this time to drop to the floor and pretend like no one can see me?
Yeah.
And that will be how we survive this thing, whatever this thing is. And so a perceived threat could be as small as, if I'm a child, an adult just walking away from me and not having said anything. And as a little child, I'm left looking, going, what just happened? What does that mean about me?
Yeah.
Am I not, like, did they not hear me or something? Or
Yeah.
and then responding in kind
Yeah.
as to how I get seen, how I get heard, how I get my validation.
Yeah. And so over time, over life, that can really skew our love for ourselves.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And our perception of who we are.
Yeah. So as a psychologist, how do you work with somebody that you can see that maybe the reason that they came to see you, that really there's this underlying issue in terms of self-image, self-love? What do you do? How do you help people overcome that?
I think there's probably two ways. I
Yeah.
know that's very small. Outside in, inside out. So some people are able to find self-love within, look at themselves, notice themselves, become aware of where those negative beliefs are showing up and catch themselves, remind themselves that they're different or that there's an alternative belief available. We were talking about some like that you were doing on YouTube, some of those beautifully positive things you might say to yourself at the beginning of the day. And those things are an alternative to waking up and, looking in the mirror, first of all, and just going, ugh, gross, look at me, feeling exactly how I felt and not even being able to love myself. So from the inside out. Then from the outside in, and I've really only just come across this recently from a neurosurgeon called Dr. James Doty, and I heard him on Mel Robbins' podcast. I've read his book, and he talks about the neuroscience behind manifestation. But long story short, one of the principles that he talks about in that is finding ways to receive validation about who you are, doing things kindly for other people.
Yeah, and acknowledging that.
Yeah, and doing it intentionally to bring kindness to somebody. And then what happens is that negative bias, we've received different feedback from the external world. We're no longer receiving, oh God, what'd you do that for? We start receiving, thank you. Oh, that was so kind. Wow. That then changes how we see the world, and that changes how we see ourselves. So yeah, inside out or outside in.
Love that. It's simple.
It is. Well,
Yeah.
like there's a kindness in extending yourself outside of yourself, and maybe you don't have to love yourself to do that, but maybe that's a way that you can bring goodness back to you. And does it matter? Does it matter how you find your own self to be loving and kind?
Yeah.
Through actions or words or feeling?
What about self-compassion? That's something else that I hear a lot of people in the mindfulness, meditation, spiritual soulful world talk about is self-compassion. So what does that look like for people? How can they become more self-compassionate?
Well, what is compassion for a start? I often think about the way compassion shows up is just simply in our words and how we speak to ourselves with our words, or how we would speak to our children. That's usually our first point of compassionate contact, other than our families that we grow up in. But in with our own families, we can be freely compassionate. You know, if somebody's sick, are you okay? Can I get something for you? What do you need? And bring compassion through action. Then to be able to do that to ourselves or for ourselves, to be able to ask myself, what is it I need right now? Do I need to have a big old cry? And should I do that in the shower where no one can see me? So that I'm looking after myself in a way that I feel okay with. And speaking to ourselves in ways that have that compassion rather than rousing on ourselves or being mean.
Your inner voice.
Yeah. Your true
inner voice.
Yes.
Because that's another buzz term that I hear all the time is the inner critic, the mean girl inner critic.
Mm-hmm.
So really it's about honouring and changing your inner voice.
And talking back to it, talking to yourself with kindness.
Yeah.
Because, yes, sure, there might be an inner critic, but it's also to have, a compassionate Mother Teresa in there somewhere who says, yeah, it's hard right now and it's going to be okay. And, I can get through this. I can do this. I've done this before. So what do I need right now? Yeah. Where do I begin? And how do I ask for that? If I can't access it for myself, how do I find it from someone else?
We were talking earlier before we were recording about the power of 2 words, I am. And a daily practice that I have been doing for a couple of months now, it's a Himalayan breathwork, a range of exercises, and then followed by meditation and repeating the mantra, I am love. And doing that every day. Okay, most days. Let's be real here.
Thanks for being honest. I think that's very compassionate of you to do that for yourself then.
Well, it's interesting because Jeff Ruff, a Vedic astrologer, I had a session with him and he had sent me this YouTube practice that he had recorded. He said, "Did we just do it for 7 days to start with and then see how you go?" I've been doing it since then and I go, it's so interesting because when I get to the end, it goes for 25 minutes. The last 11 minutes is the meditation repeating I am love in your head. He kind of says it out loud on the video and he says it in Sanskrit as well. Aham prema, aham prema. So he repeats that and then, goes quiet. But sometimes in my head I go back to English. I am love. And I will say that it does work because when I do that consistently, say for a week, I feel the shift within myself.
What is that? What is that shift?
The shift, calmer, more peaceful. If something happens that's stressful, to go, hey, you got this.
Yeah.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. I am love. It doesn't matter. That has been the shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the voice of compassion, isn't it?
Yeah. And so now, because I've seen and I feel the benefit of that, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Who can I share this with?
Yeah, absolutely.
If anybody wants this YouTube video link, let me know and I will send it to them.
Put it in your show notes.
Put it in my show notes.
There you go.
Yeah.
About that thing, that practice, you are attending to yourself every day.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the most compassionate things we can do for ourselves is to attend to us first. And as a practice, be it 5 minutes, 45 minutes, it doesn't matter. But there is a prioritizing of self and that time is for me. And then if I'm filling up my own cup, then I've got more to share. And if it's coming and it's giving me peace and calm, then what I'm sharing is peace and calm. When I put myself at the very bottom of the list and I let everybody else's cup get filled from me first, what is there left at the end of the day? And my first word that comes to my mind, I'm resentful.
Yeah.
I'm probably a little bitter as well. And that tastes awful in my mouth, that bitterness and resentment. I can't say I haven't been without it because if my family heard this, they'd know. that sound of bitterness and resentment, and me believing that it was important to put myself last because everybody else got to be first.
Yeah, because as women, as mothers, as nurturers, that's what is kind of ingrained in us.
Yeah, and particularly as mothering or caring for parents or caring for other people, we do put them first, and it's much easier.
Mm.
Yeah, it's much easier to put them first.
Yeah.
And go get that done. It's a little bit harder to put yourself first at the beginning of all of that and, add a few drops of compassion to your own cup first.
Absolutely. I had another guest on Hey Soul Sista, Danielle Colley. She's a somatic life coach and author and a writer. And she was talking about those moments of compassion with the daily practice. And she was like, even a walk on the beach, if you can take your dog for a walk on the beach, or if that can be a daily practice, that's something that you are doing. But that can be a beautiful gift to yourself, every day if you can.
The other thing I just thought about compassion, and this is really just another thing that's kind of occurred to me, bit of adversity going on in my own life. And my instinct is to control it. Right? My instinct is to go, right, that person's never coming back in my house ever again, and I'm not going to stand for that behavior, and blah, blah, blah. And knowing that while I'm having this great rant, what I'm wanting to do is to control the situation because it feels unsafe.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming all the way back to where we started talking about that, it feels unsafe. So my instinct is control that, and then I can get on with being nice, or then I can get on with being kind or whatever. And I think it was Gabor Mate.
Yes.
He's an expert on addiction. And
I love that you said his name like that, because I thought it was Gabor Mate.
Yeah, Gabor Mate. We could probably call him Gabor Mate. He wouldn't mind. But yeah, Gabor Mate, he has a principle that says value compassion over control. And when I'm thinking about self-compassion, if I'm to value compassion to myself first, then I don't need to have this really strict series of expectations upon myself that I must meet in order to be validated. I can have some compassion with myself and some flexibility and some kindness. Doesn't mean I don't go for my daily walk or do my exercise or eat to look after my body, because that's all actions of self-love anyway, how I care for myself. And if I'm caring for myself that way, then I also give permission for everybody else around me to do exactly the same.
And you become the light that other people see and what reflected back to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that on your list too? I am the light?
No.
Could be. It's good.
No, but I go, it's true. And it's like, there's the old saying, right? Shine your light. But shine your light so that other people see the wonderful, I'm going to say beauty, but I mean soulful. I don't mean, but they see that beautiful essence in you. And then, they'll give them permission to actually strive for that themselves.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because what's the alternative? Control the shit out of everything.
Yeah.
And then end up in really boxy.
Have expectations that people can never meet, that you can never meet, go down the rabbit hole.
And then come right back to I'm less than.
Yeah.
I'm not enough. I'm not good. Yeah.
Rather than I'm worthy, I am love. I deserve to be loved. I accept myself right here, right now.
I recently came up with this. This came to me in yoga, this little how I speak to myself thing. And I called it an SOS. And the SOS is, well, we need an SOS, first of all, when we're in distress and we need to call for help.
Yeah.
And oftentimes if we're in a position where we're calling out for help, we're also quite hard on ourselves. I can't do this. This is stupid. You're dumb. I don't know. These are just mine.
Yeah.
I don't know what yours are.
Yeah.
But as an alternative to that kind of self-talk when I'm in an SOS moment, I could say, I am safe, I am okay, and I'm strong. That's my SOS.
Yeah.
Yeah. To remind myself that, and if I'm not safe, get safe. So that be the first port of call, because safety is first. in our, we can't have necessarily self-compassion if we're scared. So we bring safety to ourselves by moving ourselves to a safe space, a safe spot, safe people. But yeah, I'm safe, I'm okay, I'm strong.
So Kazi, you are a very soulful person, a spiritual person. How do you live a soulful life?
Trying to listen to myself as much as I can. Listen to that inner voice, that internal voice. Give myself room to be heard. And don't waste my words on people who don't care.
Well, thank you for sharing your words today.
Thank you. It doesn't really sound like a spiritual practice as such. I do meditate. I'm again like an infrequent but frequent enough. Yeah. And yes, I agree with you. It does change my day I notice that when I haven't had it for a few days, I crave it. Yeah. I'm like, I find myself thinking about my little spot that I've got at home, that I've got it's my spot. It's my meditation spot. And yeah, I find my mind wandering there. And that's how I know, it's time. I'm ready. I need a bit more of that. So that's listening to that intuition as well. Because I could do the hard and fast rule and say, you got to do it every day. And then if I fail or if I don't get there, how am I going to speak to myself then?
Exactly.
Yeah. So waiting for that craving or keeping up a practice helps to create a place to be able to reflect and listen to that voice for myself.
Yeah. So Kazi, if people want to find out more around you, or they want to maybe have a session with you, connect with you, what's the best way they can do that?
So kazamos.com.au will be up and running very soon.
Yeah.
And I practice psychology out of the Hummingbird Centre at Broadmeadow, and you can call the Hummingbird Centre and book in with me there. Yeah, that's about all the places you can find me.
So anybody who may be listening and may go, yeah, do you know what? I'm struggling with self-love. I'm struggling with negative feelings.
Struggling with midlife.
Feeling stuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring it in.
Bring it in.
Bring it in, and it'll be brave. You'll be brave.
Yeah.
You won't think so, but, it's a hard thing.
It's interesting because I'm such an advocate for therapy. Such an advocate for therapy and different therapeutic practices. I'm so open to a whole range of therapeutic practices, some woo-woo, some not, but I am such an advocate for it because we all want to live, I believe, as peacefully and joyfully as we can. That's why we're here. And sometimes, again, if you get a sprained ankle, you go to the doctor. You got a sore back, you go to the chiropractor. You might be struggling emotionally or with negative thoughts or something's going on for you. Go and actually see somebody who can help you through that.
I think the beautiful thing that therapy offers is a different perspective.
Yeah.
And for my clients, I see that I'm invited to offer a perspective that is not from where they're standing. I call it my mountain, your mountain. They're inviting me to, from my mountain, look over at theirs and just reflect what I can notice.
Yeah.
Not criticize, which, family can sometimes tend to fall into that. Friends can also fall into that. As the external, non-judgmental, non-biased person, I just get to be invited to reflect back what I see. And that often comes with clarity for whoever's asking. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be all what you see on TV.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful space, and find the right person. If you are going to choose to talk to somebody, you might not find them the first go. So ask around. Yeah.
Thank you, Kaz Amos.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on Hey Soul Sista 2.0.
Yippee. I love it.
I can't wait to have you back again.
Oh, when? What do we do?
All the good things to talk about.
I know. So good.
Yay.